Aries, he's a ram, just a ram. Always right and doesn't give a damn. It's easier to kill him right away than to argue with him, because the only way to win an argument with an Aries is if he's blind, deaf, not yours, without an arm or a leg, and disabled. And even then, there's a big chance he'll still flip you off. But Aries are honest, sometimes so brutally honest that it can make your teeth grind. He will respond very honestly if my haircut is bad or if a dress makes me look fat. There's nothing you can do about it, you'll have to put up with him and love him as is. When it comes to household chores, Aries is usually useless. He's only good at coming up with brilliant ideas and tries to keep his shoes clean from the dust of existence. However, if you make it clear to an Aries that a Sagittarius mops floors better than him, he'll work his tail off and polish your parquet floor every Saturday, because there's no one that an Aries would go the extra mile for more than a Sagittarius. Life with Aries is never boring, they have a knack for seeking adventure. They can easily make money quickly, but being a proud and principled individual, they detest money and attempt to rid themselves of it quickly. Despite this, they always seem to have accolades, which would be much more fitting for a Virgo to have. Due to their nonchalance about these accolades, they forget that they are quite useful for their warm-hearted Aries friend, especially if this friend is a Gemini. As for Cancer, I fear I may come across as biased, but I find no zodiac sign worse than Cancer. A suspicious and always unsatisfied individual, Cancer is constantly struggling with absurd questions. For example, worrying about whether sitting in a jacuzzi after Pedro Franceschi has called and possibly masturbated under the water to my radiant image would lead to potential pregnancy. At the same time, Cancer doesn't care at all that he doesn't have a jacuzzi, and in general he's a man who tends to imagine the end of the world constantly, getting scared of his own imagination, getting into hysterics and running for comfort to a maiden, disgusted as hell. On a deserted island, he'll definitely starve to death because he's physically unable to wolf down food that wasn't wrapped in plastic but lying around, say beneath a palm tree. He enjoys fucking. But somehow without a spark, however, if he wants, he can give heat, but he'll tear himself a new one for trying so hard in vain. Cancer women are those who watch porn with hope, who in the end still don't. They get married, they like to talk long and gloomily about their own illnesses and other failures in life, which scares off everyone apart from Taurus. They're even more tedious when it comes to matters regarding their own bodies. They're faithful because they're scared of chlamydia and trichomoniasis, prone to drunkenness and philosophy, and neither usually does Cancer any good. In short, Libra is a dickhead aesthete. He's flighty and always on the prowl, pretending to be an art connoisseur but can't even take out his own trash. Guess what? He's been chasing an impossible ideal his whole life. He doesn't even have time to learn basic tasks like cooking or sewing a button. He enjoys dressing up, irritates everyone by obsessing over details, isn't above cheating, but claims to remain faithful in his heart to the one. His body is just a medium for sinful deeds, after all. And he's a real piece of work, seeking a sense of spiritual balance that is fundamentally unattainable for Libras because his carnal nature will always triumph. Highly spiritual ideals, just like every indecisive fucker, often grapple with nervous diseases like psoriasis and gastritis. He's envious but not malicious, tends to turn the other cheek, doing it solely out of a masochistic love for humanity, not from wanting to drag them under his wing, which one should never do, as the brain of Libra can endure more than any other sign combined. He is constantly in cognitive dissonance between reality and what he desires because he's a sucker. At first glance, Capricorn seems quite dull. Their motto is, however bad today is, tomorrow is probably going to be even worse. They disguise their gloominess with a happy-go-lucky persona to avoid backlash, but they still often find themselves in trouble. Capricorns only find happiness one way, through relentless work. A lazy Capricorn is no good to anyone. If they can't work, they'll make up all kinds of strange tasks to keep themselves busy. Without work, Capricorns can't achieve their Zen, and a Capricorn without Zen is a pain. They might appear shy at first, but will kick you when given the chance. Especially with their gnarled horns if you are a Gemini or a Leo. They can't stand these signs due to their inappropriate playfulness. They are crafty and often stingy, but not always. They feel most at home when embracing their earnings. Despite their love for messing things up, they cannot stop even when things get heated. However, they do it so well that they are surprised when they get away with it. Generally, they're not conniving, even though they might seem that way. In choosing partners, they're mostly guided by logic and calculations. As a result, in family life, these dogs are happier than anyone else.